everyone. Hey, hello, and welcome to our first show with this new collab that we have with Georgio. You've all seen Georgio on this channel. I absolutely adore him. He is my aqua brother. He is an Aquarius, just in case you're wondering what that means. Yeah, and we're so excited because we've really connected anyway. So we said, let's do this a weekly thing because we love the same things and we want to know the same things that you guys want to know. And we're like so into this drama. So we're going to start this show with the biggest drama in the Bravo world, let's just say, which is Beverly Hills, Georgia.
Is it called, should we call it Botgate? Is it Botgate?
Botgate, let's call it
Botgate for sure.
Definitely. But before we start, let me just remind everyone, if you're new here, hello, welcome. Nice to meet you. Please like this video if you haven't already and subscribe if you're new here, because I can guarantee you that you're going to like the content that we have in this channel, and there's more content that's going to be rolling out. Also, don't forget to follow Georgio. Everything is down below. You can see it on your screen as well, just below him, and me as well if you're not already. And I'm going to say a big hello to the chat as well, because the chat is heating up. I mean, look at this excitement. I'm just going to say hello really quickly to a few people who are here. I'm so excited. Hi, Elizabeth. These are the Femmies. They're always here. And, you know, they're just this community, you know, Georgia, met.
I love your community. They're so nice here. They're so nice and welcoming.
Absolutely. I love this. So I'm going to say hello to Light Mission, who's here as well. Kate, some of you haven't seen you in a while. So hello and welcome back. Roni's in the house. So iconic. Hi. Foxy Ripley, Issa here, my beloved Issa, and moderator Gabrielle is not here. She's on holiday. Finally, she needs it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're getting into this. We've got so much to talk about. So I'm going to go really quickly and say hello to everyone. Love you back, Zesty. Love you too.
Oh, I love Zesty's profile picture.
Same. I was such a My Little Pony fan.
Yes.
Still am, I guess.
You're never too old for that.
You're never too old. No. Hence the pink, the neon. I just realized we would both have neon lights.
You're my aqua sister. We both love pink, and it's incorporated into, look, your sign in the background's pink, mine. Anyways.
We should trademark pink, the two of us, you know, just in case. Just saying.
You gotta protect yourself.
I agree. Right. Let's jump in, everyone, because I know that you're all at the edge of your seats. You want to know what is going on. So let's talk about this week. Georgio. Thoughts?
Where do we start? Okay, so I guess we need to start with the whole Garcelle's son getting all these messages in these hateful, racially charged, despicable comments, really. But then, you know, it came through that these were not real accounts. They were obviously bots, and someone was in charge of sending them, and it just kind of spiraled. I don't know. I thought they would have gotten to the bottom of it pretty quickly, but we're still in the lurches, and there's so many avenues people are trying to take with who they think could have done it. And a lot of people obviously are pointing at Diana. A lot of people are pointing at Lisa Rinna. But then I think, was it yesterday, I saw the tweet that Erica Jane retweeted where someone came up with a theory that it was either Kathy Hilton or Garcelle. And in my mind, I'm like, first of all, why would Garcelle do that to her own son, and what would be the gain? And number two, I mean, Kathy doesn't even know who Hunky Dory is. How is she going to, like, send out these masses of bots? Like, it's just insane where people are going with this. I think Diana has also been defensive. So I wanted to point out to anybody in the chat, everyone be aware. Do not even remotely get close to anything regarding the alleged Madam thing. She has gone on a cease and desist spree last week, sending out letters to podcasters that I know, people in the media, Gawker, all that stuff. So just keep that in mind. She's clearly on one and she's being retaliatory. So
Good to know. And also, I don't see why. I mean, you're a public figure now. You're on TV. So
Mhm.
people are going to throw dirt. They're going to throw mud. And, where there's smoke, there's fire, I guess. So why? I mean, it's just like, I don't get it. But I think she's over it. So I don't think she's coming back. What do you think?
I don't think it worked in her favor the way she thought it was going to. And the public opinion obviously stands, people are ready for her to go. So
Well, I don't know. I didn't think she was all that bad until a couple of episodes back or a couple of weeks back. I
yeah.
thought I get it. Because she's European, she's from Bosnia. I understand. I'm half Greek or partly Greek, so I understand that mentality or that culture a little bit, that Balkan mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And they are very much like that. The women, they're very, very tough. They're very honest. They're very, they're brutally honest. And that's their way. That's how they communicate. They don't cut corners. So I get that about her.
Absolutely. But I think on the show, she's kind of turned into, I mean, as of last week, I was like, my jaw was on the ground because it's like, why are we not calling this behavior out, ladies? Like they're all watching her use the see you next Tuesday word at Sutton, and no one except Garcelle is standing up for her. And it's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel good to watch it when it's like that.
That was so uncomfortable. That scene where Sutton, they're just like, like a swarm of bees just after and attacking her. She was silent. That was so uncomfortable. But you know what? I think this is where because we've been having this Bravo discussion for months. That, where is this all leading to? Where is this all heading? Is this what viewers want now? We're much more intellectual. We're much more intellectual in our viewing and our, what we choose to view now than we were 3 or 4 years ago. We are more aware of production. We're more aware of the characters or the cast that are in front of our screen. So there is that thin line, which I think that Bravo has, has sort of crossed. Now, in the name of like ratings and ads and revenue and corporate and all that, but now it's just too dark.
I think what they were trying, and I really don't understand why they would think this is what viewers would want when we've been saying, look, we don't want to see a bunch of women gang up on one woman each season and tear them down. We want to see conflict and resolution, but not this dark, nasty, vile, like energy that's spewing. And honestly, like, I'm really disappointed in a lot of the women, like specifically Kyle. I mean, she started the show, and to see her, whether you want to call it a bad edit or not, I could care less at this point. You said it, you acted that way. They're just using that footage into the show. It paints her in this like pot stirring, and I think Dorit even said it. She's like stirring the pot, and she doesn't want to own that part of it, and she plays up like, oh, I just want to get it out there. I just want everyone to openly discuss this. And the fact remains, for me, they all last episode sat there and pretended as if though Sutton wasn't even in the room the way they were talking about her.
Exactly.
Hello, I'm right here. And actually, I wanted Sutton to get up and leave, not Diana. And why did people follow Diana out?
I don't. It was. I agree with you. I was angry. I was really pissed off at Kyle as well, because Kyle, I'm gonna say, up until maybe 3 seasons ago, she was sort of more down to earth in a sense. Okay, I know that she kind of like she produces the show. We know that. We know that Kyle is the queen. She's the OG, and she produces the show in a sense. But she still always managed to kind of like bring things to, she would balance things out. I was so angry and disappointed at her during that last episode. I'm like, she went up to Sutton and she said, aren't you going to defend yourself? Aren't you going to speak up for yourself? No. Why don't you do it? You mean girls, you're all mean. Why don't you stick up for for Sutton? What did she do to you? What is it? And I really want to know what's in the background, because there's definitely something else going on. What do you think?
I think the issue here boils down to the fact, and I know a lot of people feel differently, but I stand on this. I think everything comes down to the fact that these ladies do not like that Garcelle and Sutton are friends off of the show. They've built a pact together and they have each other's back, which is why they're trying to isolate them both. And they're trying to get at Sutton. I think they ultimately want Sutton off the show.
I know.
And they want Garcelle to drink some of their Fox Force, whatever, 4 tea, if you will. And Garcelle's just not buying into it. She even said, like, I'm glad she said this to Erica. We don't need to be friends. I'm good with that. I don't care if we become friends. It's fine. We can be cordial, but that's about it. So I don't think Garcelle's falling for it. And I think they're getting annoyed, which is also probably why I think some of this, now we haven't seen the rest of the Aspen trip unfold, but you know, the whole Kathy Hilton, you can kind of tell how they're building it up. If you paid attention, you know, they purposely like put her in the bunk room. They're purposely trying to paint her in this like high maintenance, like, oh, you know, they kind of did that when she was at Crystal's. I don't know if you remember when she stopped abruptly. She's like, do you have any chips? Do you have a soda? But I thought that was funny. And that's Kathy being Kathy. But, you know, you can tell that they're trying to kind of build it so that when we do get to that, it won't be like, it won't come out of left field. Because it's like, oh, yeah, she was kind of being like high maintenance and da-da-da-da. But it's like, even Kyle, like, you're setting your sister up in the process, and then you're going to step away. And then I think in the trailer, she's looking like someone here is trying to set my sister up. It's like, you are one of those people, in my opinion. So it's just odd.
It's odd. And you know what? You know what they've done actually by trying to push Sutton out and Garcelle, they've made them the fan favorites. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And I love that.
Well, you know, I think both of us, and we kind of talked about this when I was in Athens, but we're like, Aquarius don't like to see people getting bullied. And so, you know, I'm always for the underdog. So, you know what? Yes, push them more our direction. We want them to win. The more and more you guys hate them, the more and more the fans are going to root for them. And I think they're seeing that backfire online.
Yes, and it's gone ugly. And it's gone on. And speaking of online, and we have to look into this because we've been on Twitter a lot with everything that's been going on, because it's all unraveling on Twitter. And I mean, that's the best place to unravel, I guess, you know.
But it's unhinged.
It is unhinged. It's a cesspool of madness there. But here's the thing. So let's talk a little bit about Patrick. Has it been debunked? Patrick Summers, who is supposed to be Kathy Hilton's assistant, but is not. And then there was a rumor going around that maybe it's Lisa Renner who put him up to it with the bots and everything else. Do you want to explain it? Can you just give us a little recap regarding
I'm going to give you guys a run through, because I know so many people have been DMing me, because I was for a minute following it, and then I stopped because so many people were done with him. And then he popped back up again with this whole bot situation. And so people are like, why? How are you involved in this now? So here's what I think is going on. This is just my theory. I do think there's, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think that Patrick was hired by somebody, either by the cast or production. Now that I'm thinking, I don't think production would go that far, because this could ultimately land back in their lap. But it's not off the table for me to think that someone on production could have done it. But I think what's going on here is, I think they're trying to make it seem like he's crazy and all over the place and doesn't make sense, and he's lying and his stories don't add up. But the truth of the matter is, and I'm sure you saw this, you know, Ronald Richards is now apparently repping him in this whole thing. And when I saw that on Twitter and saw Ronald Richards liked the tweet, it's like, wait a minute, what does Ronald Richards have to do with this now? Because, you know what I mean? So there's something in the water there. And I wanted to ask you, because I know you're going to pull some cards, I would love to know which, because some people think this is Kathy, and not because it's Kathy herself doing it, but that she's hired someone else to hire him, possibly to deflect off the stuff that she allegedly said in Aspen, to kind of take the heat off of her in the meantime while these episodes start to air. But then when Patrick came out and said he was invited to the reunion, I think everyone was like, okay, enough with this. Because like, there's no way you were invited to the reunion. They were, for what? They would be inviting other bloggers then. You know, he's not a blogger, but I'm saying like, if one of us would be invited then, because we would have a theory or some sort. So I don't know if that's true, but then I don't know if it's not, because he's not going anywhere. And now with Ronald Richards attached, it's sticky, because it's like, well, he's got to find some validity in this lawsuit, because apparently he's in a lawsuit with Lisa Rinna, allegedly.
Yeah.
You know, the details are fuzzy, but I don't know if their relationship went sour, you know what I mean? And she kind of turned on him, and so now he's trying to paint her out to be the bad guy, or if in fact maybe Kathy's assistant hired this guy to do some damage control. But come on, it would still lead back to Kathy, and Kathy's been in this business a very long time. She's not new at this publicity stuff. So she would be a lot more, her hands would be cleaner, if you know what I'm saying. It wouldn't.
Can I just say that it sounds like Ronald Richards wants to be the next housewife, or he wants to have his own show. I mean, he's just sticking his nose everywhere. He's everywhere. Enough, Ronald. Enough. You know,
he's like the new ambulance chaser, but it's like the Housewives edition. Like, wait, I see something over here. Let me help you.
Is he like, what was Noella's husband called? What was the lawyer Noella's husband?
Yes.
Something James.
Sweet James.
Sweet James. So is he like the next, not Sweet James, but maybe he's not the sweet Ronald. I don't know. I mean, he's like, because Sweet James was an ambulance chaser as well, apparently, allegedly. Yeah.
I think with Ronald, he's more attached to the fame he's been getting since Erica's whole situation. I think it's gotten to him now, and he wants more and more and more of it, because it's probably benefiting him to some degree.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know what they say, bad publicity is good publicity, you know? Okay. So, I mean, so let's look into a little bit on, where shall we start then? Shall we start with?
Let's start kind of in the beginning. So let's start with Patrick, because I would love to know, is he who he says he is?
Oh, good question.
Let's start there, because let's see if there's any validity there before we go down this rabbit hole, because it is a rabbit hole, guys.
It is, and we're going to try and find out as much as we can.
I'm going to look through the comments while you do that, because I think.
Yeah, I tried to find the tweet of Patrick Summers, and I couldn't just before we went on. But
which one?
The one that
he screenshot everything.
The one where he says that. Oh, you do. I love that. I think you can share your screen as well. The one where he says that he's going to be represented by Ronald Richards and all this. It's
a statement, I think he put out, right? It's like a letter.
Exactly. The letter where he signed it as well. Like, I thought that was a bit too official for Twitter, but anyway.
Not on my desktop, but I do have it on my phone, because I was like, yes. I can read it to you guys.
Please do while I'm shuffling. Yeah.
So it says, "Dear fans and viewers, as many are aware, me and fellow cast member Lisa Rinna have been in an ongoing public dispute for 3 months. She has released personal data, made untrue statements, and frankly made false allegations that defame my character. I am moving forward with the legal representation of Ronald Richards. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion is set to tape this coming week, and false statements and allegations will not be made at my expense. I am confident that we will be able to put an end to this narrative, storyline, and controversy. Best, Patrick Summers." And then in the caption, he says, "Thank you for all your continued support, at Attorney Ronald Richards."
Okay. First of all, thank you, Zesty, for the super sticker. Will Rinna and Diana get fired? We'll get to that in a second. Now, I pulled some cards while you were reading that statement.
Okay.
And the first thing that came, like the first thing, and guys, bear with me, okay? Bear with me. You're like, oh. Patrick, right? He's a young, okay, here's the thing. I have a feeling that because I asked the cards, tell me a little bit about Patrick. I left it open-ended, okay? I wanted to see what's going to come through. So I have a feeling that he's involved with someone in the cast. Okay.
Oh.
In some romantic way or in some or them being quite close. Here's the thing, okay? Then I get the justice card.
Ooh.
I have a feeling, and I'm going to put it out there, that there is a group of people, including maybe someone who is involved with contracts or an attorney. I'm not saying necessarily Ronald Richards, okay, before you all jump ahead, but someone, maybe it's also Ronald Richards, but we don't know that, okay? But I do see, because look at this. I'll show you the cards. You don't need to read tarot to understand what's going on here. So we have the Knight of Cups, and as I said, there is a relationship there. Some kind of like close relationship with someone from the cast. We've got the Justice card right in between the Lovers card. See where we're going here? Lovers card. That's pretty self-explanatory.
What?
And this was between. So this is what the cards look like. Sorry, hold on, because of there. Okay, this is what comes up, and the Four of Cups. He's disappointed. I feel there was a plan there. This is all part of a bigger plan. And this is not necessarily because of Garcelle, Sutton, and all that. There's something else behind it, which is a much bigger, as I said, scheme or plan or plot to kind of like stir things up, create the drama. And I feel this has to do with someone's rebranding. Someone in the cast or someone we know is trying to rebrand and is causing, in a sense, this drama in order to sway public opinion. And the whole legal stuff that comes out.
You know how I get at these readings? I can't hold myself because like things are just popping up.
I know, right? Even for me, reading it. Hold on. I want to pull one more card. Very sneaky. So this is all being put up. I tell you, there's someone behind Patrick. We knew that already. We suspected it. It's been confirmed by the cards, okay? But let me just remind everyone so we don't get in trouble. This is for entertainment purposes only, okay?
Yes.
Right. So, Seven of Swords. So there is sneakiness. There is a lot going on in the background. And there is like an ulterior motive for everything that we're seeing. So Patrick is not being paid for what he's doing, but he's being promised, or he has a close relationship with someone, and we need to find out who. I'm dying. People are like, Erica, Kathy, like the chat's going crazy.
Oh my gosh, I do. Yes, I do see some Kathys. I do see some, but there's been Rinna all over this for a lot of people, but I just feel like that's too obvious.
Yeah, I don't think it is Rinna. I don't feel it's Rinna, but once upon a time, I think it was like a year ago or a year and a half ago, where when we first found out about Tom Girardi and Eric and all that. So we had done a reading with Kempire, and that video is on my channel if you want to go back. And I remember that I saw during that reading that there is someone else behind all of this, what is happening with Erica. There are lawyers that are involved. There is just something else which is bigger, and I can't explain it because I can't really see it clearly. That needs a lot of exploring and going and diving deep. Queen of Swords. Who? Okay, Queen of Swords. This could be okay. We need the help of the chat because that's going to take so long. Or Georgia, if you can do it. So I need star signs. I get a feeling. I get an Aries feeling here. Or I get an air sign feeling here. That woman that we're talking about, who is sort of in cahoots with Patrick. So I know Kyle is a Capricorn. Rinna is a Cancer. Erica is a Cancer. Garcelle is what? She's an Earth sign, I think.
Garcelle. She's a Sagittarius.
Garcelle. Okay, Garcelle, fire sign. And then who else? And then Sutton is,
Let's see.
everyone's like Kyle. No, I don't think it's Kyle, to be honest.
She's a Virgo. Sutton's a Virgo.
Sutton is a Virgo. Oh my God, we've got a lot of earth signs and cancers. So, okay, so there is, and so, okay.
No, wait a minute. No, Crystal's an Aquarius. So that's
yes, Crystal's an Aquarius. Also could be Crystal, but you know, because air sign, but I don't think it's Crystal. I don't see her. I don't feel it. So, or someone who has more of this fire energy. And Rena, although she's a Cancer, she does have a lot of fire energy. So she must have a lot of fire in her chart. Kyle gives me very earth energy, a little bit of water as well. What's Kathy?
Hilton is a Pisces.
Oh, okay. So it's definitely not Kathy. I'm just going to go to, I'm going to ask specifically before we jump into any conclusions. Actually, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to ask specifically, who should I ask? So people think, so the chat says Erica or
Lisa,
Kathy, Lisa,
or Kathy. So those three.
Okay, I'll throw for all three and see what comes up.
Let's get to the bottom of it.
Okay. So Erica, who do we say? Erica,
Kathy.
Rena, Kathy, and Rena, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Erica, Kathy, and Rena. So this is Erica. This is Kathy. This is Rena. Interesting. There, I'm not getting a clear answer, but look at Kathy. With Kathy, I got High Priestess, which means listen to your intuition. It could be that Kathy is behind it.
So maybe those theories are right. A lot of people sent me some DMs just a couple days ago, and like a lot of them had really kind of excellent points as to how it could be her. Not her, like she went on the.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what I'm saying. She headed it. She must have people that are working that have their hands in it. So it's very interesting that you pulled that card.
Rena, I think it's going to be proven that it's not Rena. This is what I feel. So in the end, we'll just find out it's not Rena. Yeah, we want to blame Rena for everything. She is messy and shady, but okay, let's not blame everything on Rena. It's not. Okay. And with Erica, I get the Three of Swords, which is the heartbreak and massive disappointment. So again, the way I'm reading the cards and what I'm picking up and feeling right now, it's like, you know, out of all three of them, Kathy is the one who's closest to. And you know what? I'm going to pick one for Diana. I saw someone, Ferenco says Diana. I'm just going to pull a card for Diana. No, not Diana.
I always thought that would have been too obvious anyway.
No, and I'm pulling one for Kyle. I'm going to pull one for Kyle. Kyle knows something. Kyle knows. Kyle knows, guys.
Something's there. I knew something was there with that because she stayed silent a lot through this whole thing. And I don't listen, you have to put I'm not defending Kathy by any means if she is the person behind it. But let's think through this, because if you remember, Kathy had to deal with Lisa Rinna coming after her sister Kim. Then she now is in her second season. She started later because she needed more money. That pissed off the Fox Force 4. Then the Aspen stuff happened. They tried to bring it up on camera, even though it wasn't filmed. And I think Kathy sat back and said, you know what? You think you're going to turn this around? Watch me. And I could see her be like, let me make them go through hell for the rest of the season while Aspen airs, because I'm going to make sure they all get painted negatively.
But you know what? I think you're right. But I also think there's something, I keep getting this feeling. There's something else going on behind. I think they're creating this mess to cover for something else. Light Mission says, and thank you for reminding me that Erica showed up as a Queen of Swords in the last reading I did, which, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm just going to ask specifically about Erica, because if she came up, and you make a good point. Thank you for reminding me, Light Mission. So I want to see. Oh, my cards just flew when I said Erica. They were like, no, 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 no. We're not patting that. You know what?
Oh, Pat can we say puss? I don't think so.
I guess we can.
Well, I didn't say the full word, so I guess.
No, you can say puss, a little kitty, kitten. Meow.
Oh, I miss the cats in Greece.
Okay, hold on. What can you tell me about Erica about this whole mess? You see, guys, if we start talking and we start exploring, we'll get into the gist of things. 2 of Cups, 8 of Cups, 7 of Cups. Why so many emotions into this? So many cups for Erica. 2 of Cups, which is partnership, not necessarily relationship, but partnership, partnering up. And then 8 of Cups, being very disappointed about the results, being very disappointed and not liking the way it went, the direction that it went in. And then 7 of Cups, some illusions and hiding stuff. And is it possible that Kathy and Erica and maybe, Patrick and whoever's behind this, they kind of like masterminded the whole thing? Just saying, I don't know, because it's very confusing.
But I'm just trying to think. So okay, I know this is going to be wild. But do you think this whole Aspen allegations thing, was that something that was drummed up maybe by Kathy?
Light mission reminds me again, thank you guys, that that Kathy's a lot more sneaky and calculating than she portrays herself. Absolutely. I keep getting that. I keep getting that. I have people saying I don't think Kathy would be involved in something that hurts Garcelle's son. No, she's not. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that she came up with, like a detailed plan.
No.
I'm just saying there was a bigger plan, and they kind of like got this Patrick guy involved. They got someone else involved. There are definitely lawyers involved because we saw it. And this is all part of like they're covering for something, and I want to know what, and rebranding themselves. Why? What is going on? And why target Garcelle's son? It's just
Really
it doesn't make sense.
huge. It's like, I'm telling you guys, it's seriously like CSI. Trying to uncover the breadcrumbs and figure out where it leads us, because any which way you think you're going, somewhere along the lines it doesn't make sense.
I know it just doesn't, because it's blown up but and it's gone. It's just it doesn't make sense. But
Joey said that Erica's moon is Aquarius.
That's why she comes off very aloof and
Yes.
snobby, and sorry guys, Aquarius does that. We do that. I mean,
we kind of invented that.
Yeah, we kind of invented that, but it's okay. We're not all that bad,
No.
But Erica Moon Aquarius rising. I still feel it's Kathy. I don't know. That's
I mean, it's starting to feel like maybe, when you look at it, you think back, it's like Kathy's kind of set the precedent with like PR and things. She's very well adversed to that, the media. So I'm sure whoever works for Kathy could have easily hired this guy, Patrick, and maybe they promised him something. Maybe they promised him fame, or
I mean, who knows? Patrick could be a friend of Nikki's or Paris's, and you know what I mean? Like someone who is versed with social media and digital marketing and the digital aspect of stuff. And she kind of like asked him for help regarding all that. I just asked the cards while you were talking about, what can you tell me about, why would Kathy do this? Like, why would she be involved in this? And it's all about power, guys. Yeah. Light Mission is right. And I said that in the past, that not everything that we see about Kathy is like, we all enjoy her. She's quirky. She's funny. We love to see this awkward dynamic between her and her sister, and Kyle. But she is very much about a power play. This is very much about proving a point and coming on top of it. This is power play with this King of Wands and this King of Swords, two kings. When I asked why would she do that, this is to prove something. This is to come on top again. Four of Cups. She's not happy about something. She's not happy about her portrayal on the show, about maybe things that are about to come out, because we're mid-season. We're mid-season. We're not even towards the end of this. So I have a feeling there's more to it. And this is all a plan to kind of cover something that happened on the show while they were filming that we don't know. We're not privy of yet. This is the feeling, because look, I get the Three of Wands as the shadow card. This is a plan for the future. Laying the ground. So I'm telling you, something else is going on.
You know, it's weird, and maybe it's just coincidental, but, you know, we're like, I know you said we're in the midpoint of the season, but we're actually only just like 5 or 6 episodes away from the finale, and they're taping the reunion next week. So it's interesting, though, before Aspen aired, the whole bot situation came up. And I don't know if you recall, but all of a sudden that one week, there was no episode.
Yes.
So like they skipped an episode a week, and then we got the episode last week, obviously. But it's interesting that this whole thing kind of came out, and who it affected. It was Garcelle and her son and the racially charged things. So it's maybe starting to feel like maybe she's trying to paint others on the cast as being what they're trying to portray her to be. Because again, she was not on camera for these allegations that Lisa put out there. And I think because Lisa was so loud, I think you're right. I think she's like pissed off that she's getting this really bad edit. And she's like, oh, you think you're going to do me dirty? Watch what I do.
I agree. But do you think that, let me ask you that while you were talking, this is what came right to me. Question for all of you, not just Georgio. Do you think that Garcelle's son, because it's no coincidence that he was targeted, the young one, Jax, right? The 14-year-old one.
Mm-hmm.
Why target a 14-year-old? She's also got an adult son, Oliver, which we all know that a lot of drama and stuff is coming out about him now. Oh my God, it never ends. Like, poor Garcelle, and oh my God, it's never ending. But I mean, to me, this is what is iffy. This is what's smelly. Why target Jax? Why not target one of Sutton's kids? I'm not saying do it.
No, of course.
No, of course not. I'm just saying, why specifically Jax?
You know what? I think it could have something to do with he was already targeted on the show. So it's like another way to make it look like, you know, see, it's like first he's disrespected on camera, and now because of that, now he's getting these bots, if you will, coming his direction, saying all these horrible things. So is he?
I don't know.
I don't want to say he's in on it. What I'm saying is, I know this could go over a lot of people's heads. Entertainment is very crazy. So the strategies and things that people come up with are crazy sometimes. It's just coincidental that it's just happening to him.
I know.
And not Oliver, the oldest, who has been on the show multiple times.
He's an adult.
Yes, he's an adult. He's got, a child and, all these things. So it's weird that they're targeting this young high school child for this attack. Maybe because, it's Garcelle's soft spot. He's a child. This isn't what this should be off limits. Maybe let's go harder. Because an adult, you're like, okay, well, that sucks. That's annoying. But it may not have hit as hard if it was Oliver getting it.
I know. That's the thing. And the chat is saying that it was racially they were racially motivated, which is highly likely, but we don't know. The thing is, sorry, that was the wrong one. Wasn't rumor Kathy said something prejudice, so maybe she wants a prejudice label on someone else. diverting the issue.
Yep, I could see that.
I'm going to ask the cards one question. This is very unpopular. What I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to throw some cards on Garcelle.
Okay.
I love Garcelle. I love her. I love her energy. I love her voice. I love her on the show. But for some reason, I just want to ask, because sometimes, what stars do is like they want to attract bad publicity, or they want to attract sort of, bad publicity on them. So they get the headlines, so they get talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I know Garcelle would never do that to her son. She would never, ever do that. But for the sake of just keeping Garcelle's name clean, I want to just throw some cards on Garcelle, see what the cards have to say. Just in case. Let's explore. Let's dive in. Yeah, the chat. Let's see. Oh my God, this is getting worse.
Oh, hold on. Kathy said herself that she said something bad about Kyle and she was sorry about it. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to focus on. I don't know if they will. Is it that Kirsty says, I think that it could be Paris or it's Nikki Hilton. What about Dorit? Dorit's a Cancer.
Dorit is a Cancer, behind the Pat Summers thing.
I don't believe Garcelle would do that to her son. I don't either. But
I don't either, but listen, when
saw something though.
Yes, this is the thing, okay? And I don't, because I want to remind everyone, here we're reading about people who are on TV, they're on our screens, they haven't asked for a reading, they're not open energetically. So this is not like I can really tap into their energies and pick up everything. I completely solely rely on the cards because I'm a moral reader as well. So I won't read someone unless tap into their energy and pick up a lot of stuff unless they ask for it. But here's the thing, this is getting muddier and muddier, and I don't know how to unravel this in a sense, because can I ask you before I tell you about the cards, when did the whole Oliver situation come out that he was cheating on his wife, that he cheated on his wife with Raquel from VPR and all that? When did that come out?
It was, I want to say about almost 48 hours ago.
True. And the bot stuff has been happening for a while now.
Yes, but a lot of people think that it's for the show and the wife is just kind of more kept in the dark. But the DMs and stuff that she put out, it's not just Raquel. There's stuff going on there for sure.
There is, but I'm just asking because I pulled some cards on Garcelle about what's her situation here. This is what worries me, but because I got the Magician. Magician is someone who manifests stuff, creates situations. They have the power to change the energy around them. Knight of Wands. She doesn't seem very upset, to be honest, okay, regarding this whole situation with this Knight of Wands. It's actually working to her favor, and she sees that because she's a smart woman. So she sees that how it's going to work. I'm sure Jax is fine. I mean, I'm sure that was very, very traumatic, but now he's probably, he's got a lot of support around him, and he's probably feeling fine about it, not too down. But I don't see here anywhere where I would feel like Garcelle is angry, pissed off. She wants vindication. She's upset about, the way they treated her son. And guess who popped up? The Queen of Swords. I can hear the crickets and the silence right now from chat and everyone. And then I got the Death card. The Death card doesn't mean death for anyone who's not familiar with tarot. The Death card is actually a good card because it means that a very long-winded, heavy chapter in your life is coming to a close to make room for something new. It's fishy. It's fishy. I'm telling you. And I'm just saying, this is all a little bit weird. And Three of Cups, this is so weird because, while I was saying that, I was thinking there are three people involved in this, in the bot gate. Three people, three women. I kept getting, aside from Pat Summers and lawyers and all that, I get three women. And look what I picked, the Three of Cups. And what do you see? Three women. Is this a bigger scheme from the cast, or at least the non-Fox 5 cast?
There have been multiple rumors because I don't know if you've seen, but Sutton, Garcelle, Kathy hang out quite a bit. And even so much that Paris retweeted a photo, cropped Kyle out of it, and said, "My dream team." So, and Crystal was included in that picture. But I think the main people that are a little bit more tight-knit is Sutton, Kathy, and Garcelle. So I wouldn't be shocked if this was done in a way to paint the others in look what it's doing. It's working if that is the case, because it's making Lisa Rinna go nuts. Literally, she went on a blocking spree. She blocked so many, and thank you, shout out to Lisa Rinna for not blocking me. But Diana sending out cease and desists. It's just, and Kyle's not painted in a very good light with everything that's been going on this season as well. So it's just, I think I saw somebody saying they think Teddy's behind it, which that wouldn't surprise me. But I mean, what would she gain out of that? She's not going to get back on the show. So
I know. I mean, let's leave Teddy out of it. Even if she is, who cares? But at this, and I picked one more card, the Four of Wands, celebration. We're getting somewhere. I feel like we're getting somewhere, and I'm happy.
Too. Something is. I mean, look, it's a strategy. And what better way? You can't control the narrative on the show, but you can most certainly control the narrative outside of the show, right? So let's dump all this out while the show's airing, turn people's attention to what's not actually happening there. But then when we do tune in, we're more pissed off at certain people. So it's just, that's why I feel like production knows about this thing and they're letting it slide, I think, because usually production would jump in at this point and be like, all right, enough. Whatever you guys are doing, cut it out, because it's turning attention away from the storylines. But Kathy's the queen of Beverly Hills, so you know what I mean?
I know. But I think we're all seeing where this is all heading and how this is all kind of like orchestrated and why this is all happening. And it is, I feel, to shake the foundations of Beverly Hills. And at the end of the day, how do we know? We don't know that Kathy doesn't want Kyle out too. Like, maybe Kathy is here this season to replace Kyle, because I said it and I'll say it again. I don't feel that Kyle is coming back. Just saying.
You have said that. You
yes.
said that.
And I stand by it. I don't think she's coming back for many reasons. And and coincidentally, Garcelle was having lunch with LVP the other day. I'm telling you, what is going on in the Bravo universe?
Well, this is a good segue though into, because now we've got to get into the Oliver stuff, because I have a theory behind this. I think that, and I don't know if his wife is playing into it for the show, because it's very interesting. She went on a rant, she made the post, but it is interesting. Garcelle is close to Lisa Vanderpump, which then got her son Oliver a job at Vanderpump Vegas, and now the show's filming, and he's not a cast member, but he's clearly a part of the storyline, at least for Raquel. So it's just wild that they were having lunch and they're filming together, because it's like, what were you guys talking about? They're building up the story for Oliver, I think, by having Lisa have lunch with Garcelle. Talk to me about his struggles. Talk to me about his life. See, let's build him up. And then here we go with this stuff. And they're going to use all of this in the show. You know they are. The screenshots from the wife, all of it.
Of course they are. Foxy's saying no, Garcelle did not do that to her own son.
No, I don't.
We're not saying she did.
No. I think this is where it gets sticky, because I think it's like obvious, and this is why I was trying to say this earlier, but I didn't want to go off into the weeds. Sometimes, because Garcelle is an actress, she's been in this business for such a long time. She understands how publicity can help move things up. And right now, I think it could have been as simple as like, Jax didn't have control of the Instagram when all this was down, because you know what I'm trying to say? Like, maybe she restricted it, or maybe she let him know, like, look, we've got to do some things. Or maybe she didn't. Maybe she's keeping it the way it is. But I don't think she did it to her son to be malicious. It wasn't for that reason. But it's so out of the loop that no one would look at her in any. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I know exactly what you mean. Because if you don't
the
know how
last person to look at is her, because what, like we said, why would she do that to her son? You know, the same thing that Foxy is saying as well. Absolutely not. But if someone else is in charge of this whole thing, it could have just been a directive. Hey, sorry, we got to go this direction. And she probably was like, do you really have to do that? You know,
or maybe she didn't even know. Maybe she didn't even know the exact strategy, you know, where they had pre-planned, or they had, you know, agreed on certain things, etc. And then Pat or whoever else was involved in this, Patrick, I mean, and whoever else was involved in this, they kind of, you know, took that action. And maybe she didn't get the heads up. Maybe she wasn't aware of it. Maybe she found out after. But this, I trust my cards, and this is what I'm getting, and this is what I'm picking up. That it's very muddy, though. It's not 100% clear. But I think we all kind of agree where this is all leading. And don't be surprised if in a couple of weeks we're all like with our like jaws to the floor because of some big revelation, and then things start, you know, making sense.
You just reminded me of something, because I remember now with Patrick, when he first came out with this bot situation, he made a statement saying, because he said, the bots were not supposed to do anything racially charged. So let's take it back. Let's take it back one step. Let's say that the bots were only supposed to harass Jax, not in any like racially charged way or do any of that. Which is why I think Patrick came out and said, I'm handling it with our overseas vendor, because that was not part of the plan. He didn't say plan, but he was like, that wasn't part of the order. So let's just say Garcelle knew there was going to be a bot attack, but it was going to be surface stuff that was to do with the show.
Right.
But something went left, and someone stitched something in there that was racially charged. And that could have thrown Garcelle off, like, wait a minute, we didn't agree to that. You're not going to do that to my son. And then they said, hold up, let's clean this up fast. And so that's kind of where I'm landing, because Patrick fits in this somewhere, even though people are disregarding him at this point. But I think that's all on purpose too.
It is. And it's not a hoax. Because, you know, at first when he came up, everyone was like, oh, it's a hoax. Oh, you know, he's just this guy. He's got a lot of time on his hands and blah, blah, blah. No, he isn't. He's still around. We're still talking about him. He's being represented by Ronald Richards. He's being sued allegedly by Lisa Ray. I mean, there's a whole thing going on, you know, and this is not a hoax. This is serious. And I agree with you, because bots really, from my knowledge, I think they work with the AI as well. So it's like they pick up other accounts and what other people say, and then they kind of stitch things together, and then they just like launch them. So I agree with you. This could be just like a plan gone awry, you know, just to, you know, what seemed like a good plan at first, then go awry, and probably just to prove a point. You know, setting off those bots just to prove a point, like, you know, and sort of like throw maybe Erica under the bus, because she was the one who started the whole, you know, just being rude and mean to Garcelle's kids. And then it kind of, so it's just, there's a lot there that we're not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, of course, people are going to jump to conclusions. That's normal. We're all kind of like invested in the shows that we watch and in these people that we're watching. But on the other hand, we should also kind of like step back a little bit and maybe look at it from a different perspective and just see the bigger picture, because it's not all black and white, and especially here.
So Santivia says the Three of Cups could mean Garcelle's friends rallying around her for support. And that could be true too, but that could be part of the support, right? Kathy, Sutton were like, listen, let's stick together. Let's support each other. Like these ladies are supporting each other, you know, because I think it was 2 episodes back where Dorit said, you know, Erica said, I'm really close with these ladies. And Garcelle said, yes, I know, you tell us that every chance you get. So it's like every time probably it's thrown in their face. So yeah, I'm sure there's camaraderie there, but I think I'm thinking the strategy is what happened. I don't think the racially charged stuff was part of the plan. I don't think Garcelle would ever traumatize her son that way. I don't believe that 1,000%.
I don't.
So I believe that she could have said, yeah, okay, let's send the bots. Because as you know, Kyle's daughter, Portia, got, you know, attacked as well. And so this is all, and of course, Rinna's the one that's being painted as the worst one. She was initially the person connected to Patrick. So
it's all funny thing, because I saw, like Mission said this, I wanted to ask you about this because I want to pull a card about this.
Oh, that's a good one.
So thoughts on, first of all, that announcement on social media, Bravo's sort of statement. What did you think of that?
I thought it was not authentic, because if they paid attention to the show, it's not the fans, it's your cast. You should have made that. I hope you sent them all an email with that same message, but you should have done it publicly, because I think Bravo needs to stand up and at some point call out this behavior. So I'm hopeful that when we get to the reunion, Andy doesn't play this game where he tries to let them slide. I need I think the fans, myself included, yourself, we want to see accountability from these mean girls who keep spinning the narrative around. It's getting vicious now. And I think people are playing dirty games to try to make their points.
Yeah. And Bravo is definitely not taking accountability, because Bravo hired these people. Bravo hired the producers behind these shows. Bravo should be accountable for something, you know, and not just throw the buck around.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, you can't just sit back with your hands up and just say, we don't know.
I agree. I wanted to see, hold on, there's someone, Foxy says, please don't put this on Garcelle when it's Rinna who's most likely to do this. We're not putting this on Garcelle, and we're not saying Garcelle is bad. We both actually like Garcelle, but we're just saying that we need to move away from this to see the bigger picture, because everyone is sort of like so hooked on the fact that, you know, bots were attacking Jack's, you know, Garcelle's son, and this is horrible, and all the drama that's going around it. And what we're saying is that we have to step back to see why did this happen? What was the motivation? What was the incentive there? What were they, whoever was planning this, what did they want to, you know, achieve with that? And we're just saying what we saw on the cards, you know, and the Magician was the first card that came up.
I don't think, first of all, I want to be super duper clear here. I'm not saying, and we're not saying that Garcelle is behind any of this. What we're saying is, when you're on a show like this, media plays a big role in getting the ratings, the people talking about it, making it more mainstream. And it's become so mainstream now. And because we have Garcelle on there, and because of the dynamics of these women, it's too obvious to say Lisa Rinna did this. We know Lisa Rinna has displayed some not so great behavior, but think of it as like a murder mystery case. When you've ever seen something where you're like, who did it? It's always the person that everyone thinks did it is the last person to be involved. And it's always the person you least suspect is the one holding all the cards. What we're saying is, who has the power out of those other ladies that are not a part of the Fox Force 4 to be able to do something like this? And not just do it, but then have the person doing it be online, make themselves look like a lunatic at times, because Patrick has thrown himself out there with a lot of different stories. And I think that was on purpose. to make it seem like, oh, you're going to believe this kid who lied, and it's worked to some degree because a lot of bloggers aren't even talking about him anymore. But now with this Ronald Richards thing, it's getting real. So there's something there.
So people are confused in the chat. They're saying that they're confused. If you're not blaming ourselves, Garcelle, then who are you saying is in charge of this? Sounds like you're saying Garcelle and Kathy are behind it.
I'm not saying Garcelle's in charge of anything. I think Garcelle's just part of it because I don't think she constructed any of this. I don't think Garcelle's the one that hired Patrick. I don't think she even has any connection to Patrick. I think
I agree. Yeah,
it
exactly.
is a sticky situation, guys. Like, I know a lot of people I love Kathy. I stan Kathy. So I don't want to throw her out there under the bus, but who else could it be then? Are we going to say it's Lisa Rinna because we just don't like Rinna?
I agree.
Rinna, that's the point. I'm saying Rinna, I call Rinna out all the time, but the point I'm making is that it would be too obvious for it to be Rinna because Rinna clearly is in this mess now. She's suing Patrick. It's obviously some sort of legality thing. So,
and trust me,
Ronald wouldn't be on it.
Rinna wouldn't be suing if she was involved.
No,
she wouldn't be. She just came out of a big lawsuit, right? Just a few months ago. Why would she go back into this whole legal drama and saga if she was involved? We're not saying that. We're just saying it's not 100% clear, but by throwing the cards and asking the cards, this is the direction we're going. Okay. And yeah, I agree with you, Georgia. Just because we don't like Rinna or we don't like her behavior or we find her dark doesn't necessarily mean that she is the one, let's not jump on that, or that Erica is the one. Sometimes it comes from somewhere where you don't expect it or you least expect it, but what I'm saying is that there's more to the story that hasn't come out yet, which we will, and it will all start making more sense. And I'm sure that if we all look back on this video in a few weeks' time, what is confusing to us now is going to be a lot clearer then. Hope that makes sense.
Also, let's also remember that Lisa Rinna, the reason why she started blocking people is because I'm not going to name the account, but an Instagram account leaked DMs, but only leaked what she answered after probably being baited. And she had a theory that it had something to do with a producer that used to work for Vanderpump Rules, or it was, Lisa Vanderpump herself. I mean, I don't think it's Lisa Vanderpump, but I think, yeah, there's someone on the cast, but I feel like someone on production has to know about this because you can't just let all this stuff come out like this without somebody saying, okay, we're going to let this slide. No one's doing anything about it. So it's not like they've even made a statement. We're investigating it. None of that. They're not even, not that they have to tell us, but
people are getting a bit upset in the chat. Guys, it's just.
No, I see. I know. And I get it. Listen. It's sticky. I know. And I think it's coming off in a way that makes it seem like we are trying to say that Garcelle would do this, put her own child away for more fame or to keep her diamond. And that's not what this is about at all. I think what was supposed to be just a normal strategy that was supposed to just make something kind of be talked about for a day got turned into something really dark and ugly. And I'm sure this is why Patrick has been brought back into this. But there's something with Patrick, and it's not because Lisa Rinna hired him. I think it was all set up from someone else to make it, because there was an antagonizing thing between Lisa and Patrick for a while there, because obviously they shared each other's data and phone numbers and all that stuff. So that's why I just feel like if it was Lisa, then why is she in a lawsuit with Patrick? Because if that was the case, if Lisa hired Patrick and was behind all of this, the mere fact that there's a lawsuit now, all of that would come out. So why would Lisa put herself in that predicament?
Right. And if you want, just to appease the chat as well, what I can do is throw the names of the cast and then I pull cards. So if you want to know, like, if you want to maybe, if you feel in a certain way or intuitively or not, then, let's throw some cards out for each cast member. I'll show you the cards and then you guys decide, because I'm just as confused as you guys are. I'm trying to read what's coming through. It is confusing. It's not clear because nothing is clear out there yet. And I feel there's just so much going on. So shall we do it that way? Georgio, what do you think?
Yeah, let's start with Lisa Rinna.
I think we are all feeling Mercury retrograde. We're in retro shade period, which is just before, and it's sometimes worse than retrograde. So yeah, let's all chill. And thank you, Pepe. Yeah, exactly. I'm asking to think outside of the box here. We're all trying to figure this out. Not easy. We're doing this live as well. Not easy. Okay. So who shall we start with?
Let's start with Lisa Rinna. I think everyone is really gung-ho that it's her, or that she has some involvement in this. So let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
And let's ask, did she hire Patrick?
Okay.
Let's start there first.
Okay, I'm going to pull some cards here. I'm going to show you the cards as always. Page of Wands, the Empress, the Tower, Four of Swords. So, Page of Wands, definitely, listen, we know that she's messy. I'm not saying that she hasn't put her, she hasn't stuck her fingers in the jar, but, she's acting like, she's out of it. And this is how I feel with this Page of Wands. This is the energy. She's quite confident. So this is the energy I pick up. So I don't feel she's involved. The Empress, she's a mom too. Okay, let's not forget that, because I got the Empress card here. So, but I get the Tower. She's got her own issues right now. She's not, I don't feel that Rinna is involved whatsoever with the situation. Ace of Pentacles, new beginnings. This has to do with money though. So I think she is involved with this situation by suing Patrick or, getting involved, and she's going to get some coin from it as well.
Okay. So
work from work. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's a connection there from what you're seeing.
No, it doesn't.
Lisa hiring Patrick or being the head person behind this whole situation with Patrick, not just the bots. I'm talking about just from the beginning with the whole.
Yeah.
So that's off the table. So let's start. Then let's go to Erica.
Okay. The Wheel, the Hierophant, those popped out. Hold on, everyone. The Star, Pentacles, Eight of Cups. So I had the Star for anyone who reads tarot. This is Erica. The Star is about, it's a beautiful card. It's about being seen, about getting attention. I do get an exchange of money though here. So there has been some kind of like business deal or exchange there, or ask for money. Eight of Cups though, walking away from it from conflict. Yeah, it could be.
So Erica's not off the table.
She's not off the table, no. Because then I've got the Wheel here, which is like things turn, or things are not as they seem, or as you think that they're going. They're not going to go the direction that you think that they're going, right? And a Hierophant is normally like the marriage card, or it has to do with institutions, right? Like, it could also be Bravo in this case. It could be Bravo in this case, because it's the institution, let's just say. Correct. So, and things are changing regarding Bravo. So yes, she's not off the table.
All right. So now let's go to Kyle. Is Kyle connected to this Patrick thing?
Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Kyle, work. Cards are a bit darker, the cards. I'm going to show you guys. I have the Eight of Swords, which means that something is keeping her from talking, from moving, from changing, from doing things. So she's restricted, okay, from work. Eight of Pentacles. This is the work card. This is working hard to achieve something, and learning. And then we've got the 10 of Wands, which is the completion card, something coming to an end, and heartbreak. She's not off the table. She's not off the table.
Interesting.
And 9 of Pentacles. Again, we have the 9 and then the 10. The 9 of Pentacles. There's something is she's reaching for something. And it's something higher up. She's reaching for more money, or she's reaching for, as I said, maybe to change her. Guys, what if Kaya doesn't come back to Beverly Hills next year, and she wants to sort of reignite her acting career because she did Halloween, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe this is a way of sort of, well, not a way, and we're not saying that she is the mastermind behind it, but what if everything that is happening right now, it's sort of, as I said at the beginning of this, it's about helping this person rebrand, or maybe even find a way to exit without their dirty laundry coming out. Right?
Oh, of course. I mean, that's not far out of the way for Kyle, because that, as we've seen, I feel like the show's kind of getting in her way a little bit now, that she's trying to branch out more into the acting. So that could be part of the case. What about Dorit?
Dorit, yeah, because we haven't talked about Dorit today.
No,
but so is Dorit involved with Patrick? Oop. The energy. Okay, let's see what comes up for Dorit. Seven of Swords. Is she involved with Patrick? Maybe it's a silent one. Who knows? It's confusing. Seven of Swords is someone who's being sneaky and going behind people's backs.
So it could be that she knows about it, but she's not necessarily.
Yes, this is what I'm feeling. But there's also conflict. I think she's probably maybe she's having a falling out, or she had a falling out with Kyle, or she's about to. Maybe she knew about the plans, or she knew about the connection. Because this is what I'm getting, and I've been feeling it for a while now, that maybe Dorit and Kyle's friendship is not going to be, long lasting for whatever reason. I don't wish that for them, but just a feeling, and Eight of Wands, there's a lot of energy here. I feel that she has a lot of, I think Dorit is the gatekeeper. She has the information. She knows more than she says. But I don't feel that she's involved. Dorit, she's also restricted. Hold on. Kyle got the same one. Dorit got the same one. Restricted. Being tied down, not being able to move freely or speak freely as well.
Could this have something to do with maybe someone having something on them and saying, if you were to say something, then I'm going to release this and this about you guys?
And the work card, same as Kyle. Same as Kyle. We got the Eight of Pentacles and this one as well when we threw the cards. Could be related to the show, Bravo. Could be related to what they know. And they're both restricted. So they know more than they can say.
Okay.
And they probably, we're not saying they're involved, but they probably know very well who knows Patrick, who's involved with him, and what's going on. And they can't say anything. They're very restricted. And I do have the Five of Wands. There is a lot of tension behind, a lot of inner conflict too, but also conflict between them. The Fox, what do they call, Force Fox 5, and just the cast in generally. Yeah, general. Yeah.
So by that logic, then, is Kathy involved then? Because if they know more, like if they're, let's say they know. Also, I want to point out, someone in the comments, let me go back.
Mm.
Someone's saying that Rinna is actually suing for breach of contract.
A verbal contract as well. We need more info on the
Rinna
agreement.
is suing for defamation and breach of verbal contract. We need more info on the agreement. Could have been an NDA. All right. So can we pull something in regarding an NDA or a verbal contract? Is this something that maybe she is involved with this whole Patrick thing and it went bust and she didn't give Patrick what she promised him and Patrick came after her, and then maybe that's how Kathy's getting connected. It's not that Kathy's necessarily doing it. Maybe something went wrong with their relationship, because why breach a verbal contract with you? I could see the defamation.
The magician just popped out, literally popped out while I was shuffling. The magician. We got the magician again. That's why I'm saying this is a lot more complicated. This is not about who done it.
Yes.
It's not one who done it. It could be all of them together working on, behind the scenes to create something which just went out of hand. Okay? Went completely out of hand. And because I see the magician and I see that there is a restriction there. So we know that at least 2 or 3 women know about this or knew about this or knew a lot more than they will tell us. So what is going on? We're all trying to figure this out. I'm trying to, it's really confusing for me too. I'm literally sweating right now. It's hot in here as well, but I'm just saying that it's not so easy to figure this out, especially since the filming happened months ago and everything else is happening in real life, and we're all trying to connect those dots. And we're trying to connect this energy. It's so hard. But what we do know, though, it is that cast members definitely knew of the involvement of this Patrick guy, with somehow, not necessarily with the bots. Let's remove the bots out of the way, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But Patrick was either involved or hired to create or stir up some kind of drama online, okay? So Patrick probably, allegedly, made a huge mistake by, proactively sort of hiring these bots, like buying these bots and just dispelling them. It all went haywire, right? I do feel, though, from the cast that there is definitely a disconnect between the Fox. Oh,
Fox
what are they?
4.
Yeah, thank you. 5, and then the rest of the cast. So there's definitely a disconnect. So what is happening in between? It's very muddy and it's very unclear. So, sorry, what do you want to say?
No, I agree. This is kind of I don't know. It's almost like it's not an A, B, C. This is how it happened. I think there's, like you said, it's muddy. I think there's maybe initially started out to be something just to get things popping off a little bit, to get excitement around the show. But for some reason, it's gone really, really dark.
It's
And
gone really
if
dark.
I'm
Yeah.
honest, it's gotten so dark that it's kind of transferring into like what we're doing right now, because it's turning the energy and it's not really clear. And obviously it's not that the cards are giving us the exact answers or anything like that. We're not using it for that way, but I think there's a strong hold on the fact that it's Lisa Rinna. And I think if that's what your gut is telling you guys, then I would go with that. But I do think it can't just be one person in charge of this whole thing, because Patrick at the end of the day has gone rogue, clearly. So there's more to that situation. I do think there's something with regards, like, I do think it's interesting that there's a breach of verbal contract, which could, like, I think a lot of users pointed out, or that it could be an NDA, but that's pretty standard in this business. Everyone throws it, people have them at their front door at this point. So it could just be that whenever she talks to anybody that's not in her circle, they have an NDA, whether it's verbal or not. But Yeah. It's
But I agree that darkness and that energy is just sipped in through to us as well. And this is it's guys, listen, it's these people are here to entertain us. We are here to get entertained. We are here on YouTube to entertain you guys. So, and I'm not I'm not saying that I'm basically saying that what happened to Jax is horrible. As a mom, I have kids, and I would honestly, I don't know how I would react if anyone did that to my children. Luckily, they're not on social media. But in the future, when they are, I do realize that this is really hurtful and painful, and you react in all sorts of ways. But let's not forget that's their job. The cast's job is that to stir up drama, to make themselves, to put themselves out there, make themselves relevant, and it's our job to talk about them. It's dark. We don't like that. I don't like this energy. Maybe that's why I'm kind of like blocked out of seeing things. I want to say that while you were talking, my guide said pull a card, and I just cut the deck in half, and this is the card that I have, the moon card, which means there's so many the moon is about things that are unseen, secrets, things that are below the surface, but they will come out to the light because the moon has the dark side and the light side of the moon, and it's all going to come out. That's the bottom line. We're now all, doing this. It's for entertainment purposes. Anyways, that's the direction we're going. The cards are showing us in a way what direction this is all going to, and that there's more to come out. But let's not go too dark on this, because there's so many other more important things in the world that are dark and painful, and and people who need healing than this. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to make it light, and just tell the chat as well that, guys, it's okay. We will figure it out. We will find out anyways. I do feel that we will find out more information.
we definitely will, and that'll be at the reunion. You're not going to skip over.
Not at the reunion. I don't think it's going to be the reunion.
You don't think it's going to come up at the reunion?
No. It never does anymore. It never does.
Yeah, and even if it does, they could cut it out.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to come out in the reunion. It's just, I feel it's going to come out through someone breaking an NDA, or someone talking, or someone leaving the show and then not being tied down or restricted by contracts, and being able to, speak freely about things like that. This is what I feel, but it's all going to come out. I think the reunions are always so, Andy always picks and chooses, or the production always picks and chooses what kind of questions they're going to ask them. Some may seem more hard-hitting, but they're not, because we need when we ask questions, we need answers, but I mean deep answers, not just whatever Andy wants to hear, whatever production wants us to know. That's what I'm saying.
Agreed.
Let's see. Sorry, that was another Bravo overall, I've been lackluster, so I don't think it will come up. Exactly. I don't think it's going to come up. I mean, it's just, I mean, did things come up last reunion with Erica? Not really.
No, they made it seem like it would, though, with the 4 parts and all that, but all they did was just play up on the narrative more, not so much what people wanted to dive into. But wow.
So I think we covered quite a bit. I know it's not what everyone was expecting. Neither it was for us either. No. This was our first show. It's just that it's a complicated one. It's a tough one, this one. But it is as it is. I think we will definitely find out more. And at the end of the day, if you're watching this in the future, 2 or 3 or 6 months down the line from now, and you look back at this video, probably it's going to make a lot more sense than it is right now for us in real time. So, and it's always like this, even when you have your own personal reading, with a reader, sometimes some things may not really sort of like kind of like resonate that point, but it resonates a few days later or a week later. You're like, oh, this is what this is all about. So the same here. I'm sorry. This is the best I can do today with all of it. And it is dark. I had one thing I didn't tell you guys while I was doing this reading was I had massive heartburn. I don't get heartburn. So I never do. I don't have these issues. And that's a sign that there is just so much underneath there. And there's a lot of bad energy. There's a lot
Totally.
of
And I love what Pepe said. I feel like this is a literal case of what's done in the dark will eventually come to light. That is exactly it. I think you're right. We are going to eventually, this will come out in the wash, as it always does. And I think when we reference this back, when we come back to this video, there's going to be a lot of aha moments that we aren't going to be able to pick up because it's not clicking. Maybe it's not meant for us to pick up on right now. We still need to keep, I know I always say this, we need to watch and see what happens. But the truth of the matter is we do. Sometimes you got to let things unfold. So.
Exactly. We did our best, you know. It's good to all hang out and talk about these things anyways. You know, we all have opinions. That's the fun part. We all have our opinions and listen to your intuition. What does your intuition say? And follow that. If you think it's Rena, if you think it's Kathy, Kyle, Mauricio, PK, who knows, you know, it could be. So you just let's go and let's enjoy the show. And I hope it gets better. And people like, honestly, I hope the show gets better. I hope it lightens up a little bit because it's just gotten too much right now. Right now, they're not. I mean, I can't think of any Bravo show at like Dubai. I couldn't get into it. I didn't like the reunion either. I just no. Then you have Beverly Hills. I'm looking forward to Salt Lake City because that trailer looked really, really interesting. And Potomac.
Yeah, those two I'm definitely excited for. But I think to your point, I think this was a very heavy situation. So I think what we do is we put a pin in it, right,
Agreed.
Natalie, and we kind of let this kind of absorb and we kind of take what we take from it today, but let's keep our eyes peeled. And then, you know, we'll just see what happens. And when we get the answers, we'll definitely refer back to moments in this episode, obviously. But I think until then, we just got to keep our eyes open and looking side to side, not just straightforward, because there's all these other things going on that we don't necessarily have all the detail around. Like, I'm very interested in this Ronald Richards involvement. So we'll just see how that plays out too, because obviously, you know, and I believe that whether or not we see it on the reunion, somebody's going to try to bring it up. So we'll get wind of it because I have sources on the West Coast and they'll let me know what's going on. But I'm excited, you know. Well, I'm excited about our new Nat Geo collaboration. I know that this was a heavy first episode for everyone, but I think, you know, this is kind of what it is sometimes. And right now, this is the reality of some of the shows, specifically Beverly Hills. It is a very dark season. People have been saying that from the get-go. So on to the next is what I say.
On to the next. So tune in next Sunday again at 2 p.m. This is a weekly show, so we will be talking about what comes up next week. Who knows? There's a lot of Britney stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in pop culture aside from the Bravo world as well. Gio and I are going to talk anyways during the week, and we're going to see where you know, and send in your questions as well. Just send in your questions if there's specific things that you want us to look into and talk about. Just send them in. We would love that. And we'll see what we're going to talk about next week. We will announce it on our social media. So that's why be sure to follow both of us and subscribe to this channel so you get the notifications and, you know, click on that bell because that bell is the one that's going to notify you when we're on. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for being wonderful.
Thanks for hanging in through this. I know a lot of you guys were getting upset, and we obviously don't intend to upset any of you. So thank you all for your patience. We were trying to move through it. So on to the next one. Natalie, this was amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me to collab with you. And thanks to everyone in the comments for your sweet messages and your support. But yes, if you have topics, send them our way. We'll definitely get them constructed and get right to it.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.